Everyone says just eat normal, but what does that even mean? Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Jules, and if you're new here, this is where I share real life experience of losing 50 pounds and keeping it off now for over 2 years with the help of a GLP-1. I discuss real life strategies about weight loss, fitness, GLP-1s. I've been on all of them, been on it since September 2022, how to build a life that feels strong, healthy, vibrant, free, not restricted. And if that sounds like something that you're into and you want to make your life journey, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to turn on all notifications. So today we are going to dive into something that I think every single person has at some point heard about if you're on a weight loss or health journey. And that's, I just want to eat normal. What does that even mean to eat normal? Who defines normal? Because what's normal for one person could be completely destructive for someone else. And if we're being honest, a lot of what we call normal eating in our culture is exactly what got us sick, what got us metabolically unhealthy, what got us tired, inflamed in the first place. So in this video, I am going to unpack the following: what normal eating really means, why your goals determine your version of normal, how emotional maturity plays into sustainable change, and how to redefine normal so that it actually fits into the life that you want and will support you long term. Okay, let's talk about first the myth of normal eating. We've all heard it. I just want to go back to eating like a normal person. But most of the time, that normal is just another word for comfortable. And that's really dangerous because comfort does not create change. So let's be honest, normal eating for many of us used to look like this: coffee, maybe a muffin in the morning, skipping lunch, holding out, trying to not eat for as long as we can so that we could save up our calories for dinner or dessert. And we get busy and we skip, and then dinner comes and we're starving. So now we go the other way and we overeat at dinner. And then we snack at night after dinner because our guard is down, we don't have any more distractions, we're tired, and now it becomes like a new habit and we're just snacking while we watch TV or Netflix. We order out food 3-4 days a week. We have a couple of glasses of wine to unwind. That's normal, but it's not healthy. In today's world, normal means that over 70% of Americans are considered overweight. And out of that, huge percentage have other chronic diseases along with being overweight. We have normalized dysfunction. So when people say, I just want to eat normal, I always ask, do you want to go back to what's comfortable, or do you want to move toward what is right for your health? Because the two are not the same. Now, let's talk about why people get stuck in this endless loop of diet, lose weight, regain. It's not about willpower, right? It's that the plan was never meant to be permanent. What does that mean? So if you go from eating, let's say, 2,500 calories of processed food to 1,200 calories of chicken and broccoli, and misery. You're gonna lose weight, absolutely. But then what happens after? You can't eat like that forever. That's not sustainable. That's not something that you're gonna adhere to. Not any person's gonna adhere to that long term. It's gonna get super boring. And you're going to then go back to your normal. Your body's gonna react because it's not the same body anymore. You've lowered your metabolism, you've lost muscle, you might have kind of messed up your hormones because you're not getting in the right macronutrients. So now this new normal calories feel like it's too much. So you're gonna fail. You're gonna rebound and you just get into this endless loop of losing weight and then regaining. And it's not necessarily a failure on your part. That's biology at work. So the goal is about what you can adhere to long term and what is going to sustain you as a lifestyle. The goal isn't to lose weight and then go back to normal, or the goal is not to diet, that lovely 4-letter word, and go back to normal. When I was losing weight, I never looked at what I was eating during weight loss and maintenance as a diet. Because diet means it's something you temporarily do and then you go back to doing something. So the goal really is to look at all of this as a lifestyle shift. Becomes your new normal, and it needs to be enjoyable and it needs to be maintainable. And that means that whatever helped you to lose weight, calorie deficit, GLP-1, structured plan, it needs to revolve and evolve into something that you can learn to live with long term. So I always say that the best diet is the one that you can do for the rest of your life, which means it's a lifestyle. So how do you define this new normal? Here's what's really important, and that is your goals. Your goals will determine what normal needs to feel like. So if your goal is to lose some weight, reach a healthy, sustainable range, your normal doesn't have to necessarily be really, really super dialed in. You can have a little more flexibility, you can go out a little bit more, you can kind of live in that 80-20 balance, right? 80 meaning all of your lifestyle choices and whatnot, and your sleep and your nutrition and your activity. And then 20% is like, you know, all the flexibility, your vacations and going out and indulging and doing a little more extra than you normally would do. However, if your goal is to optimize, to get lean, strong, athletic, well, then you're on a whole different level, right? That is going to be a different goal. You cannot eat like someone who just wants to get to a healthy weight and maintain that weight. The results of someone that really wants to get lean and to sculpt muscle, that is going to take a little bit more. So when I first started my journey, my goal was I wanted to just get to 120 pounds. That's, in my head, that was healthy, and it is. I'm 5'1", and that's about where I was in high school. And I thought, well, that's a good weight and it's a healthy weight, and I felt good at that. And then I got there. And then I thought, well, what if I were to lean out more? What if I dropped a little bit more body fat, built a little bit more muscle? What would that take? What would that feel like? Is that something that I wanted to do? And I said, yes, it is. It is something I'd like to do and see what it would feel like, and can I live there, and is it sustainable, and let's just see, why not? So I did, and I felt great, and I was able to dial it in more. Now, what this requires, it requires more consistency, more diligence, more planning. I had to really make sure I was dialed in to prioritize protein even more, strength train with a lot of intention, really stay hydrated, sleep. I really dialed in more on my sleep hygiene, consistency and quality, and what that looked like at nighttime, going to bed and waking up. I managed my stress better, and it is something that's an ongoing learning experience for me to this day. And where I've come in the last, 30 years in terms of managing stress is like night and day. And it's still something that I work on, because, how we respond or react to the stresses in our life really are going to determine what happens in our bodies and our brains. So that is absolutely something I'm really, really, really focused on every single day. And I track macros because it's easy and I want to do it and I know it helps me. So at this point, it wasn't just about losing weight. It was about re-sculpting my body. What could I do with my body composition? What could I do about building my performance? And that's the piece that a lot of people miss. What's normal for one person who's trying to lose 20 pounds is not going to be the same for someone that wants to lose 20 pounds and maybe you're training for a 5K. Or maybe you're somebody that really wants to build bone density, which everyone kind of should want to do that so we don't break our bones and, get debilitated later in life. Or someone that really is focused on building muscle mass. That is going to look different. So your normal will evolve with your goals. So let's redefine normal. What is my normal, my new normal? What does that look like now? It's not restrictive, it's consistent. It's not complicated, it's just very conscious. So my new normal is protein-centered meals, hydration before caffeine. And I love my caffeine, but I always get my water in the morning, first thing before anything else. I strength train 5 days a week. I walk every single day with my weighted vest, even if it's just a little bit in the morning and then a little bit more later in the day. I make sure I get my 10,000 steps in. I prioritize my sleep like it's a freaking job. I limit my sugar. I have not had added sugar or alcohol in 3 years. Thank you, GLP-1. Because I would not have been able to do it without it. I have been a sugarholic, chocoholic since I was a child. I have been what I would call addicted to M&Ms and chocolate and like anything chocolate, I'm there. That was something I would bake when I was a kid. I would bake brownies and cookies. And that's just been like a staple in my life. So for me to say that I have literally not had a dessert in 3 years, if I can do it, if that's something you want, you 100% can do it too. And it doesn't feel restricted. It's a choice every day. I could choose to have something, but today I choose not to. Tomorrow is a whole nother day. And all these tomorrows and todays, they've added up to 3 years. Kind of crazy when I think back. So I really do limit all of that. The processed foods, I really stay away from. I would say 95%, 98% of what I eat is real whole foods. One of the exceptions I make is a protein bar. I love my Julian Bakery protein bars, but I don't even have them like often. I use them when I want a sweet treat or I'm just extra hungry because they're really filling. They're high in protein, they're all natural, like they're a good processed food choice. They're a really good protein bar choice, but even with that, I still try to limit that. So here's the truth about this normal eating. None of this feels restrictive. Not anymore. It's actually so freeing because this is the first time in my life that I am not constantly fighting myself. When you fuel your body with what it needs instead of what it craves, peace becomes your new normal. And if you're on a GLP-1, that becomes even more important because these medications give you a window of clarity. They help silence that food noise. They help you to build and instill really good habits if you choose to instill them. Because you can out eat a GLP-1, you can still choose really bad habits on a GLP-1. Again, it's a tool in the toolbox. You still got to put in the work, the mental, the emotional, the physical work. It can help you to retrain your appetite, but only you can retrain your choices. So let's talk about the emotional side of this, because there is a difference between restriction and boundaries. Restriction says, I can't have this. Boundaries say I can, but I choose not to. And that is a huge difference. I have seen a lot of influencers, GLP influencers, or nutritionists, or fitness influencers, and they're all about moderation, normal, you should be able to eat everything, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Everyone's so individual. Not everyone can eat everything. And again, it depends on what your personal goals are from a health, wellness, fitness, and optimization perspective are. So it's called emotional maturity. So if your child, for example, wants to eat pizza and ice cream every single day, you're gonna say no, right? It's not because you're mean, it's because you care. You care about their health, you care about their well-being. You know that's not healthy for them. That's not gonna sustain their brains, their bodies. It is not gonna optimize them to learn in school or do their sports. And you teach them that. So it's crazy because we live in a culture that glorifies indulgence and calls discipline obsession. But discipline is freedom. When you have structure, you don't have chaos. When you have a plan, you don't have guilt. When you have boundaries, you have balance. And I promise you, nothing feels better than being in control of your own choices and not being controlled by your cravings. Changing normal means changing your identity. And it's hard. It really is, because it's not just about food. It's about who you believe you are. Who is the person that you are? Who are you becoming? So your new normal will make you feel stronger, clear, more confident, and maybe there's some discomfort because it's change and it's different, but it's worth it in the long run because it will become more comfortable. So here is a plan on how you can start creating your new normal right now. 6 steps. 1, audit your current habits. Write down, what does your normal day look like? Meals, snacks, sleep, movement, alcohol, stress, all of it. And then decide what you want. That's number 2. Be super clear. If your goal is maintenance, optimization, is it performance? Is it transformation? Number 3, match your habits to your goals. So if your goal is weight loss, build a calorie deficit with really nourishing foods. If your goal is to optimize, focus on recovery and protein, training intensity, or if your goal is performance, then prioritize fueling, getting in the right nutrients and strength building. And you can a little bit do all of it. So if you want to lose weight and you want to optimize your performance, then there is a little bit of a priority there. If your priority is to lose weight, your performance probably will not be the most optimized because you're going to need more calories and nutrition. But you can still build strength and muscle and lose weight at the same time. It's just going to be a little bit more swing into the weight loss versus the building. So number 4 is to start small. Change one habit at a time. Success will build momentum. If you do too much at once, it's really difficult. You're going to be more apt to fail. That's human nature. So you don't want to like throw in 5 habits all at the same time. Do one, build on that, feel good, feel the success. Then once it becomes a little bit more normal and a habit and easier, pull in something else. Something really simple could be, all right, I want to drink more water. I'm going to be really intentional. I'm going to write it down. That's what I used to do. I had an app, and I would put into the app all the hydration that I would have throughout the day to make sure that I was hitting my water goals, because I knew I wasn't drinking enough water in the beginning. And then that became a new habit. And I'm like, I don't have to write this down anymore. So I got rid of the app. I probably wrote it down for maybe a year or so. And then I don't need to write it down, because now it's my new normal. It's my new habit. And I always hit my hydration goals. All right, number 5, anchor it to an identity, meaning you want to say something like, I am someone that takes care of my body, not I'm trying to be healthy. That's not helpful for you. The I'm trying, no. Make it really clear. I am someone that takes care of my body. I am an athlete. I am someone that gets really good sleep. I am someone that is managing my stress really well. Now, you can say these statements and still be working to get there. It's not being untrue, but to say I'm trying, it's not going to really solidify that in your mind for you. And then the last one, number 6, stay curious. Don't be so critical of yourself, because you're going to have setbacks. We all do. I've had so many setbacks in my life in this weight loss journey, and with every setback, you learn something about yourself. So if you can learn and reflect and think back on, okay, well, how can I do something differently? That will help you to grow and evolve and get better at whatever it is you're doing. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Is your new normal helping you to become the person that you want to be? Or are you holding on to an older version of yourself that you're trying to outgrow, or maybe you're scared to let go of? Because this new normal person, you deserve that person. You deserve to be in a mind and body that supports your health, your energy, your confidence, your goals, and not somebody that is going to be stuck in old patterns, old habits. So if this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, comment below. What was your old normal? What does your new normal look like now? And check out all the other videos that I have with regards to emotional eating, building muscle, weight loss while on a GLP-1. And remember, your normal is basically just a collection of all of your choices. Change your choices and you can change your life. You've got this. I will see you in the next video. Stay strong.